They branded her like livestock marked "too big to breed" and put her on the auction block to be sold for meat. But one broken rancher saw something the world was blind to: a woman worth dying for. September 1883, Fort Verde, Trading Post, Arizona Territory. The sky stretched pale and merciless over red dust and worn timber. Wagons lined the yard in crooked rows. Mules stamped and tossed their heads against the heat. The boards of the stockyard were dark, with old blood splinters catching the light like broken teeth. Men gathered in the shade, leaning against rails, chewing tobacco, waiting for something to break the monotony of another desert afternoon. They got their entertainment. The woman stood behind the auction pen, chained between two iron posts driven deep into the ground. The shackles had rubbed her wrists raw, leaving crescents of torn skin that wept in the sun. She was tall, not tall like a tall woman, tall like something else entirely. 6 feet 6 inches of flesh and bone, and quiet defiance. Her shoulders were broad as a woodcutter's. Her hips could have carried the world. Her chest rose and fell with the steady rhythm of someone who had learned long ago that panic was a luxury she could not afford. The deerskin dress she wore had been torn during transport. The front gaped low, exposing the swell of her breasts, and the brutal mark burned into her left shoulder, a red X, still raw, still weeping. The brand of the unwanted. The mark that said unfit for womanly use, breeding impossible meat, value only. Her skirt was ripped high at one thigh, showing a leg thick with muscle scarred from years of labor no woman should have endured. Dust clung to sweat along her collarbone, her stomach the hollow of her throat. Her hair, black as a starless night, hung in a thick braid down her back, tangled with bits of straw and grime. She did not cry. She did not beg. She looked straight ahead with eyes the color of wet earth, seeing everything and nothing. Her face was stone. Her jaw was set. She had been here before in 100 different forms, and she knew how this story ended. The auctioneer stood on a wooden crate hat, tilted back voice carrying across the yard with practiced ease. He was a thin man with a mustache that drooped like wilted grass and eyes that never quite met anyone else's. 6 feet 6 inches tall, he called out, gesturing toward her like she was a prize mare. 240 pounds of pure muscle, Apache born and raised, strong as 3 men, could haul a wagon with one hand. I've seen it done. A few men laughed. Coins clinked as bets were placed. No one stepped forward with real money. Unfit for womanly use. The auctioneer continued, his voice dropping into something that might have been regret, but was more likely routine. Too big to breed. Doctor says her hips would crush a baby, her body would break it before it ever drew breath. 3 marriages, gentlemen. 3 failed attempts. Husbands couldn't perform or died trying or simply gave up. She's been examined, tested, found wanting in every capacity that matters. The woman's expression did not change. She had heard these words before. She had lived them. Not claimed by any legal authority, the auctioneer said, raising his voice again. No family, no tribe willing to take her back. She's surplus goods, gentlemen, and surplus goods get sold for what they're worth. He paused, letting the silence settle like dust. Meat value, $40. Butcher's already made an offer. Unless someone here sees another use. The butcher stepped forward. Silas Cord. A man with a stained apron and hands that had cut 1,000 carcasses without flinching. He looked at the woman the way a man looks at a side of beef, calculating weight and yield, already counting cuts in his mind. No one else moved. The woman's eyes swept the crowd once, then returned to the horizon. She was not looking for rescue. She was measuring the distance to the gap in the fence, calculating whether she could run if the chains broke, choosing where she would fall if they rushed her. She did not expect mercy. Mercy was a story told to children who still believed the world was kind. Samuel Morrison stood near the back of the yard, half hidden by the shadow of a freight wagon. 36 years old, lean and wiry, all sinew and scars. His clothes were faded and practical, a green shirt worn thin at the elbows, black trousers tucked into scuffed boots, a hat pulled low against the glare. A leather satchel hung at his hip, the strap crossing his chest like a bandolier. He had not come for the auction. He had come to deliver fence wire and salt blocks to the trading post, a job that paid $4 and took half a day. He had planned to collect his money, buy supplies, and ride back to his ranch before dark. He did not like towns. He did not like crowds. He did not like the way men looked at each other when they decided someone was no longer a person. But he heard the auctioneer's voice, and he heard the laughter. And curiosity, that old familiar curse, pulled him toward the stockyard. He saw her, and something in his chest cracked open like a frozen river in spring. She was tall, impossibly tall. Her head cleared the top of the auction post by half a foot. Her shoulders were wide enough to carry burdens no one should bear. Her body was not delicate, not soft, not anything the world told women they should be. She was a monument, a mountain, a force. But it was not her size that stopped him. It was her eyes. He had seen those eyes before, in a different face, in a different time, but the expression was the same. The quiet resignation of someone who had stopped fighting because fighting only made the pain last longer. The dignity of someone who refused to beg even when begging might save them. He had seen those eyes in his wife's face 4 years ago, lying in a bed soaked with blood, her hand in his, her breath coming in ragged gasps as their daughter was born, blue and silent and already gone. He had watched Rose die with that same look in her eyes, not anger, not fear, just a weary acceptance that this was how the story ended. And he had done nothing. He had held her hand and whispered useless words and watched her slip away because he did not know how to stop it. The memory hit him like a fist to the gut. He closed his eyes, took a breath, opened them again. The woman in the chains was still there, still waiting, still staring at nothing. The butcher was walking toward her, now knife glinting at his belt, ready to take possession of $40 worth of meat. Sam felt his feet move before his mind caught up. He stepped out of the shadow, walked toward the crowd. His heart was pounding in his throat. His hands were shaking, but his face stayed calm. He had learned that much in the war, how to look steady when everything inside was breaking apart. He reached the front of the crowd, opened his satchel, pulled out a battered ledger, a blank freight contract, and a brass seal he had bought at a pawn shop in Prescott for $2. The seal had an eagle stamped into it, wings spread, talons out. It looked official. That was all that mattered. He set the ledger flat on the auction rail, placed the seal on top of it. Let the sun catch the brass so it gleamed like authority. Then he spoke. His voice was calm, even, the voice of a man who had done this 1,000 times before. "Federal Livestock Inspection," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "This sale violates Article 12, Section 4 of the Arizona Territory Livestock Standards Act. I am confiscating this person pending review by the Bureau of Indian Affairs." The auctioneer's grin slid off his face like grease off a hot pan. He stared at Sam, then at the ledger, then at the seal. "That's horseshit," the butcher said, stepping forward. "There's no such thing as a livestock inspection for people. Show me real paperwork." Sam did not blink. He picked up the ledger, opened it to a random page filled with freight records, and pointed to a line of numbers. Case number 742 filed with Fort Whipple on August 16th. This individual was reported missing from a federally recognized Apache settlement. She is classified as a person under protective custody, not livestock. Your bill of sale is void. He looked at the butcher, held his gaze. "You question federal authority, Mr. Cord. I can wire Major Reynolds at Fort Whipple right now. He'll be very interested to hear why you're attempting to purchase a human being for slaughter." The butcher's face went red. His hand twitched toward his knife, then stopped. No one wanted trouble with the Army. No one wanted their name on a form that ended up on a desk in Prescott or Tucson or, God forbid, Washington. The West was still wild, but the law was creeping in slow and inexorable, as a flood. And the law had teeth. The auctioneer cleared his throat, looked at the crowd. No one met his eyes. "Fine," he said, waving a hand. "Take her, not worth the headache." Sam closed the ledger, tucked it back into his satchel, walked to the woman without hurry, without hesitation. He lifted the chain from its hook on the post. The iron was hot from the sun. He wrapped the slack around his forearm so it would not drag in the dirt. He did not touch her. He kept a careful distance, a gap of respect between them. He looked up. She was taller than him by 8 inches. He had to tilt his head back to meet her eyes. "Walk with me," he said. Not an order, not a request, just a statement of fact. Her eyes searched his face, looking for the lie, looking for the trap. She had been tricked before, promised safety and given chains, promised kindness and given pain. But his face was steady, his voice was calm, and he had used a word that no one else had used all day. Person. Not woman, not squaw, not livestock. Person. She took a step, then another. The chain rattled once against the post and then went quiet. They walked through the crowd. Men shifted, muttering, but no one blocked their path. Sam kept his eyes forward, kept his breathing even. He expected a hand on his shoulder, a gun at his back, a voice shouting for them to stop. Nothing came. They reached the wagon. His mule, a gray beast with patience worn into its bones, lifted its head and snorted. Sam stopped beside the water barrel, lashed to the wagon bed. He dipped a tin cup into the barrel and held it out to her. "Drink slow," he said. She took the cup. Her hands were huge, scarred, trembling just slightly. She drank in steady pulls, not greedy, not desperate, just drinking the way a person drinks when water is a gift they have learned not to waste. Her throat worked. Dust turned to mud on her lips. She set the cup down without a sound, did not thank him, did not owe him that. He did not expect it. He looked back at the stockyard. The auctioneer was still standing on his crate, watching. The butcher had his arms crossed, jaw tight. 2 clerks from the general store lingered on the porch, whispering to each other. Sam pulled the ledger out again, opened it, wrote his name, the date, and a single line, "Individual remanded to protective custody per federal authority, pending inquiry." He pressed the brass seal into the page, left the book open on the wagon rail so anyone who cared could read it. Then he turned back to the woman. "My name is Samuel Morrison," he said. "Most people call me Sam. I run cattle about 8 miles north of here. You'll be safe there. No one will hurt you." She stared at him. Her lips moved, forming words in a language he did not know. Then, in halting English, rough from disuse, "Why?" One word. A question that carried the weight of a lifetime. Sam looked at her, at the brand on her shoulder, at the chain still hanging from her wrists, at the dust and sweat and exhaustion written into every line of her face. He thought about Rose, about holding her hand as she died, about the baby who never took a breath, about the 4 years he had spent walking through the world like a ghost, doing his work, keeping his head down, telling himself that survival was enough. He thought about the moment he had seen this woman's eyes and recognized the look in them. "Because they were going to kill you," he said, "and I've seen enough death." She studied his face for a long moment. Then slowly she nodded. "Nasha," she said. "My name. They call me Ka." "Ka," he repeated. The syllable felt right in his mouth, sharp and strong. "Nasha Ka Tahoma," she said, correcting herself, giving him the full name, the one that mattered. "It's good to meet you, Ka," Sam said. He gestured toward the road that led north, away from the fort, away from the auction, away from the men who saw her as meat. "We should go." She looked at the road, looked at the men on the porch, looked at the knife still glinting on the butcher's belt. Then she nodded again. Sam unhitched the mule, checked the harness, and climbed onto the wagon seat. He did not tell her to get in, did not tell her to keep up. He just started moving. Ka walked beside the wagon. Her stride was long and smooth despite her size. She did not lag, did not stumble, just walked, head high now, shoulders back, like someone who had decided that if she was going to die on this road, she would die standing. They left Fort Verde behind. The sun moved lower in the sky, turning the desert gold and red and purple. Dust devils spun across the flats. A hawk circled overhead, wings catching the light. Sam kept the mule at a steady pace. He watched the road ahead and the horizon behind, looking for riders, for dust plumes, for any sign that someone was following. Nothing came. After an hour, he spoke. "The brand on your shoulder, who did that?" Ka was silent for a long moment. Then, "Last husband. He say I too big for children. Say I break babies inside. He try 3 years. Nothing. Doctor say my hips wrong, my body wrong. Husband say I not woman. I livestock. He brand me. Say now everyone know." Her voice was flat, factual, like she was reciting a list of supplies. Sam's jaw tightened. His hands clenched on the reins. He wanted to ask more, wanted to know the name of the man who had done this so he could ride back and put a bullet in him. But he kept his mouth shut. She did not need his anger. She needed his silence. Before that, Ka continued, 2 husbands. First one he cannot, she paused searching for the word, perform. He try, he fail. He blame me. Say I too big, too strong, I break him. He leave. Church say marriage void. And the second, he die. Heart stop in bed. I wake up, he dead next to me. Town say I crush him. Say I too heavy. Doctor say heart just stop. But people believe what they want. She looked at Sam, her eyes unreadable. My father right. I am Chindi, evil spirit in woman body. Sam stopped the wagon. The mule huffed and stamped. He turned to face her fully. Your father was wrong, he said. His voice was quiet but firm. You are a woman. That is all. And you deserve to be treated like one. Ka stared at him, her mouth opened slightly as if she wanted to speak but had forgotten how. No one had ever said those words to her before. No one had ever looked at her and seen a woman instead of a problem. Her eyes filled with tears. She blinked them back hard and fast, refusing to let them fall. Sam did not push. He just nodded once, then turned back to the road and started the mule moving again. They rode in silence for another hour. The land rose and fell in gentle swells. Juniper trees dotted the hills, twisted and ancient. In the distance, the Mingus Mountains stood purple against the sky. As the sun touched the horizon, Sam pointed ahead. There, he said. That's home. Ka followed his gaze. She saw a small ranch tucked into the base of a foothill. One cabin, rough-hewn logs chinked with mud. A barn leaning slightly but still standing. A corral with a dozen cattle grazing inside. A vegetable garden half dead from the heat. It was not much. It was barely anything. But it was not chains. It was not an auction block. It was not a butcher's knife. You can sleep in the barn, Sam said as they pulled into the yard. I will bring blankets, food, water. You do not have to stay if you do not want to, but you are safe here. I give you my word. Ka looked at the barn, then at the cabin, then at Sam. Why you do this? She asked again. You not know me. You lose money. You make enemy of butcher. Why? Sam climbed down from the wagon. He stood in the dust, looking up at her, this woman who towered over him, this stranger he had saved for reasons he could not fully name. Because 4 years ago my wife died in childbirth, he said. Our daughter died with her. I held Rose's hand and watched her bleed out on our bed, and I could not do anything to stop it. I have spent every day since then wishing I could have saved her, wishing I could have done something, anything, to change how that story ended. He paused, swallowed hard. I could not save Rose, but I could save you. And maybe that does not balance the scales. Maybe it does not mean anything at all. But I had to try. Ka stepped down from the wagon. Her feet hit the ground with a solid thump. She stood before him close enough that he could see the flecks of gold in her dark eyes, close enough that he had to crane his neck back to meet her gaze. I believe you, she said quietly. Sam nodded. He did not know what else to say. He showed her the barn, gave her 2 blankets, a basin of water, a bar of soap, a plate of cornbread, and salt pork. He lit an oil lamp and hung it from a nail so she would have light. "I will be in the cabin if you need anything," he said. "The door does not lock. You can leave whenever you want." Then he left her alone. Ka stood in the barn surrounded by hay and shadows and the smell of horses long gone. She looked at the blankets, the food, the lamp. She touched the brand on her shoulder. It still ached. It would always ache. But for the first time in years, she felt something other than pain. She felt the possibility of safety. She ate slowly, washed her face and hands, wrapped herself in the blankets, and lay down in the hay. Outside, Sam sat on the porch of his cabin, a rifle across his knees. He had not touched a gun in 4 years, had not wanted to. But tonight, he would keep watch. Tonight, he would make sure no one came for her. The stars came out cold and infinite. A coyote called from the hills. The wind moved through the juniper trees like a prayer. And in the barn, Ka closed her eyes and for the first time in months slept without fear. Dawn came cold and clear, the sky bruised purple along the eastern hills. Samuel Morrison woke at 4 in the morning, same as he had every day for the past 4 years. The habit was carved into his bones now, deeper than grief, stronger than memory. He dressed in the dark, pulled on his boots, and stepped outside into air that bit at his lungs. The ranch was silent except for the low sound of cattle stirring in the corral. He walked to the woodpile, selected 3 pieces of split oak, and carried them to the fire pit. Within minutes he had kindling, crackling flames, licking upward heat, beginning to push back the cold. He filled the coffee pot from the well-added grounds and set it on the fire. While it boiled, he cut thick slices from a loaf of bread he had baked 2 days ago, wrapped them in cloth, and set them on a tin plate. He poured coffee into a second tin cup, added a spoonful of sugar, and carried both toward the barn. He stopped 10 feet from the door. He did not want to startle her, did not want her to wake with a man standing over her, even a man who meant no harm. He had seen enough fear in her eyes yesterday to last a lifetime. He set the plate and cup on a wooden crate near the barn entrance, stepped back, turned and walked to the corral to feed the cattle. Inside the barn, Ka was already awake. She had woken at first light, body tense, waiting for the blow that always came, for the shout, for the hands dragging her upright, for the work that started before dawn and ended after dark. But no blow came, no shout, just the sound of boots on hard ground moving away. She sat up slowly, muscles aching from months of abuse, and looked around. The barn was small but clean, hay bales stacked neatly, tools hung on the wall organized by size, a saddle oiled and cared for, even though she had seen no horse. She smelled coffee, bread. She ducked her head to avoid hitting the low beam, and moved to the door. Opened it a crack. The plate was there. Steam rising from the cup, no one watching, no one waiting to see if she would take it, no price attached. She picked up the plate and cup, ate standing in the doorway, watching the man move among the cattle. He was lean, economical in his movements, no wasted motion. He forked hay into the feeding trough, checked the water barrel, ran his hand along the flank of a brown cow that looked half-starved. He did not look toward the barn, did not check to see if she was eating, just worked. Ka finished the bread, drank the coffee in 3 long swallows. It was bitter and strong, and the best thing she had tasted in months. She set the cup down, stepped out into the yard. Samuel saw her from the corner of his eye, but did not turn. He finished with the cattle, wiped his hands on his trousers, and walked toward the well, drew up a bucket of water, splashed his face. When he turned, she was standing 20 feet away, waiting. He nodded once, a greeting, an acknowledgement. "Morning," he said. "Morning," she repeated. The word felt strange in her mouth, formal, like something people said in a world where mornings mattered. He gestured toward the fence line that ran along the eastern edge of the property. "Posts need mending, wires come loose in 3 places. You want to help? I will show you how. You do not want to help? That is fine too. There is food in the cabin, water in the well. You are free to do what you want. Ka looked at the fence, at the tools leaning against the barn, at this man who kept offering her choices like they were normal things, like she had not spent the last 10 years being told what to do and when to do it, and how grateful she should be for the privilege. I help, she said. Sam nodded. He walked to the barn, retrieved 2 pairs of work gloves, and handed her the larger pair. They were still too small. Her fingers stretched the leather tight. They walked to the fence together. The morning sun climbed higher, turning the air from cold to warm to hot. Sam showed her how to dig out the rotted post, how to set a new one, how to tamp the earth firm around the base. Then he stepped back and let her work. She lifted the post like it weighed nothing, 60 pounds of pine 8 feet long, and she planted it in the ground with 3 strikes of her palm. The earth compressed beneath the force. The post stood straight and true. Sam stared. How did you do that? Ka looked at her hands, flexed her fingers. I always strong. My mother say I born under bare moon. Bare medicine in my blood. Father say it curse. Say woman should not have bare strength. Your father was a fool, Sam said quietly. Ka's head snapped up. She searched his face for mockery, found none. You think strength good? She asked. I think strength is what it is, same as height, same as any other thing you are born with. It is not good or bad, it just is. And anyone who tells you otherwise is trying to make you small so they can feel big. Ka stood very still. No one had ever said anything like that to her, not her father, not her husbands, not the people who had sold her or bought her or used her. She turned back to the fence and kept working. They worked side by side for 3 hours. Sam dug post holes with a manual auger, sweat soaking through his shirt. Ka lifted posts, drove them home, strung wire with hands that did not tire. They did not speak except when necessary. Hand me that. Hold this steady. Good. By midday the fence was repaired. Sam stepped back, wiping his forehead with his sleeve, and surveyed their work. That would have taken me 2 days alone, he said. You just cut my time in half. Are useful? Ka asked. The question came out smaller than she intended. Uncertain. Yes, Sam said. He looked at her directly. You are very useful, and I am grateful for your help. Something in Ka's chest loosened. Just a fraction. Just enough to let her breathe a little deeper. They walked back to the cabin. Sam pulled a bucket from the well, set it on the porch, and gestured for her to wash first. She scrubbed her hands and face, the water turning brown with dust. When she finished, Sam washed quickly and then went inside. He emerged with 2 plates, beans and cornbread. Simple food, honest food. They sat on the porch steps eating in silence. A hawk circled overhead. Cattle lowed softly in the distance. The world felt vast and quiet, and for the first time in Ka's memory, not hostile. After a while, Sam spoke. You do not have to tell me if you do not want to, but I would like to know more about you, where you come from, how you ended up at that auction. Ka set her plate down. She looked at the horizon, at the mountains rising in the distance, at the sky that went on forever. I born in White Mountain Apache camp, east of here near Fort Apache. My mother medicine woman. She know plants, know healing, know how to talk to spirits. She say when I born I come out big, bigger than any baby she ever see. She say I special, say I walk between worlds. She paused. Her voice grew quieter. But I keep growing. By 10 years I tall as grown man. By 15 I taller than anyone. People afraid. Say I not natural. Say spirits make mistake. My father he warrior he ashamed. He say I bring shame to family, say no man ever want me. Sam listened without interrupting. His face was still, but his eyes were focused entirely on her. When 19 Mexican slavers come, they raid camp during treaty time, kill many people. My mother fight, they kill her. My father fight, they kill him. They take me and 6 other women, sell us in Tucson. Her hands clenched into fists. I sold 4 times. First man, he rancher. He think I work good. But I too tall for his doors. I hit my head break things. He sell me. Second man, he mine cook. But miners afraid of me. They say I witch. He sell me. Third man, he want wife. He try to be husband. But he cannot. He too small, I too big. He say I broken. He go to judge, say marriage void. Judge agree. And the fourth? Sam asked gently. Fourth man, he rancher too. Rich man. He have 3 wives already. All small. All give him children. He buy me because doctor say I have wide hips good for breeding. He think I give him sons. Ka's voice went flat. Dead. He try 3 years. Nothing happen. He bring doctor. Doctor say my body wrong inside. Say I never have children. Say I defective. She touched the brand on her shoulder. He angry. He say I waste of money. He brand me. Say now everyone know I worthless. Then he sell me to Fort Verde. Say they can do what they want. Butcher buy me for meat. Silence settled between them like a stone. Sam set his plate aside. He turned to face her fully. Ka, I need you to hear something. That doctor was wrong. Those men were wrong. You are not defective. You are not worthless. You are a human being who has been treated like an animal, and that is a sin that falls on them, not you. Ka shook her head. You kind. But you not know. Maybe I am broken. Maybe God make mistake with me. No, Sam said firmly. Listen to me. 4 years ago my wife died giving birth. She was small, delicate, everything the world says a woman should be. And her body could not do what everyone promised it would do. She died screaming in agony while I held her hand and begged God to save her. Was she broken? Was she defective? Ka's eyes widened. No, she whispered. Exactly. She was a woman whose body could not survive childbirth. That does not make her less. That does not make her worthless. It makes her human, same as you. He leaned forward, his voice dropping lower. I do not know if you can have children or not. I do not care. That is not what makes you valuable. You are valuable because you are a person. You deserve kindness. You deserve safety. You deserve to be seen for who you are, not what you can or cannot do for someone else. Ka felt tears burning behind her eyes. She fought them, fought hard, but one escaped anyway, sliding hot down her cheek. Sam saw it, did not comment, just reached into his pocket and handed her a clean handkerchief. She took it, pressed it to her face. They sat in silence for a long time. The sun moved across the sky. Shadows shifted. The world turned indifferent to human suffering, indifferent to human grace. Finally, Ka spoke. Your wife. What her name? Rose, Sam said. The name came out rough, like something dredged from deep water. Rose Elizabeth Morrison. She was 24 when she died. We were married 3 years. You love her. Yes. You still love her. Sam looked at his hands, at the calluses, at the scars from years of work. Yes, he said, I will always love her, but loving her does not mean I stopped living. It just means I carry her with me. He looked up, met Ka's eyes. She would have liked you, I think. She had a good heart. She saw people clearly. She would have seen you the way I see you. How you see me, Ka asked. As someone who survived when the world wanted you dead. As someone strong enough to keep going when most people would have given up. As someone worth knowing. Ka felt something shift inside her chest. A wall she had built years ago, brick by brick, insult by insult, cracking just enough to let light through. I stay, she said quietly. I work. I earn place here. You already have a place here, Sam said. You do not have to earn it. But Ka shook her head. I earn it, she insisted. I not charity. I not burden. I work. Sam recognized the pride in her voice, the need to feel useful, to feel like she was giving something back instead of just taking. He understood that need. He had felt it himself after Rose died, throwing himself into work because work was the only thing that made sense. All right, he said, you work. But you also rest when you need to rest. You eat when you are hungry. You speak when you have something to say. Deal. Ka nodded. Deal. That evening, after the chores were done and the sun had set, Sam brought out his Bible. He sat on the porch steps, oil lamp beside him, and opened to a page marked with a piece of red ribbon. "Can you read?" he asked. Ka shook her head. "I teach you if you want." She hesitated, then nodded. Sam pointed to the first word. "This word is the. It appears many times. See, here and here and here." Ka leaned closer, her shadow falling across the page. She traced the letters with one finger. "The," she repeated. "Good. This word is Lord, and this one is shepherd." They worked through the first verse slowly. Ka was a fast learner, her mind sharp despite years of being told she was stupid, useless, fit only for labor. After an hour she could recognize a dozen words. Sam closed the book. "That is enough for tonight. Tomorrow we will do more." Ka looked at him, something like wonder in her eyes. "Why you teach me? Because everyone should know how to read," Sam said simply. "Words are power, and you deserve power over your own life." That night Ka did not return to the barn. She stood at the cabin door, uncertain. "I sleep inside?" she asked. Sam looked at her, at the question in her eyes, at the vulnerability she was offering. "Yes," he said. "Take the bed. I will sleep on the floor." "We both fit," Ka said. "Bed big enough?" Sam hesitated, not because he did not want to, but because he wanted her to be sure. "Ka, I do not want you to feel like you owe me anything. I do not expect anything from you." "I know," she said. "But barn cold, cabin warm, and you not hurt me. I know this now." Sam nodded slowly. "All right, but we keep space between us. And if you change your mind at any time, you say so. No questions asked." "I say so," Ka agreed. They went inside. Sam banked the fire, turned down the lamp. They lay on opposite sides of the bed, a full foot of space between them both, fully clothed. Ka stared at the ceiling, at the rough beams, at the shadows dancing in the firelight. She had shared beds with 3 husbands. All of them had taken what they wanted when they wanted it, with no regard for whether she wanted it too. This man lay beside her and did not reach for her, did not touch her, just breathed quietly in the darkness. She turned her head slightly, looked at his profile. "Sam?" "Yes. Thank you." He did not ask what for. He knew. "You are welcome, Ka." She closed her eyes, and for the second night in a row, she slept without fear. Outside, the desert wind moved through the juniper trees. Somewhere in the distance, a coyote called. And in the small cabin at the edge of the world, 2 broken people lay side by side in the dark, learning what it meant to be safe. The days fell into a rhythm as natural as breathing. Sam woke before dawn, started the fire-made coffee. Ka emerged from the cabin as the sun touched the hills, her hair braided, her dress mended with careful stitches. They worked together without needing words, feeding cattle, hauling water, mending fence, planting winter wheat in the small field behind the barn. The work was hard. The land gave nothing freely, but there was satisfaction in it, in seeing a job done well, in sitting on the porch at sunset with muscles aching and hands blistered, and the quiet knowledge that they had built something together. 2 weeks passed, then 3. The space between them in the bed shrank from a foot to 6 inches, from 6 inches to touching. Ka would wake in the night to find Sam's hand resting against her arm, warm and steady. Sam would wake to find Ka turned toward him, her breath soft on his shoulder. Neither spoke of it, neither pulled away. On the 18th day, Sam taught Ka to bake bread. They stood at the kitchen table, flour dusting their hands, working the dough together. Sam showed her how to knead, how to fold, how to shape the loaf. Their hands moved in tandem, fingers brushing, neither acknowledging the contact, but neither avoiding it. The bread came out of the oven golden and perfect. They tore it apart with their hands, steam rising, and ate it standing at the table, smiling at each other like children who had discovered something wonderful. That evening, Sam brushed Ka's hair. It had become a ritual. She sat on a stool on the porch, her back to him, and he worked through the long black strands with careful patience. His fingers found tangles and loosened them gently. He braided her hair the way his mother had taught him to braid rope, tight and neat and strong. When he finished, Ka turned to look at him. The sun was setting behind the mountains, painting the sky red and gold. His face was lined with exhaustion and something else, something softer. "Sam?" she said quietly. "Yes?" "I need tell you something." He sat down on the step beside her, giving her his full attention. "I starting to feel things," she said, searching for words in a language that was still new to her. "Things I not feel before. When you near me, my heart beat fast. When you touch me, even small touch, I feel warm. I not know what this mean." Sam's breath caught. He had felt it too, the shift, the slow gravity pulling them together. "I feel it too," he said. "I have been trying not to, trying to give you space, trying not to want more than you might want to give." Ka looked at him, her dark eyes searching his face. "What if I want give more?" The question hung in the air between them like something fragile, something that could shatter with one wrong word. "Ka?" Sam said carefully, "I care about you, more than I have cared about anyone since Rose died. But I need you to understand something. I do not want you because you are grateful. I do not want you because you feel like you owe me. If we do this, if we go further, it has to be because you want it, because you want me." "I want," Ka said simply, "not because grateful, not because because when I with you, I feel like person, like woman, not like thing. You see me, Sam, really see me. No one ever do that before." She reached out, placed her large hand over his smaller one. "I afraid," she admitted. "Husbands before they hurt me. They take and give nothing. They make me feel broken. But you different. You ask, you wait, you care if I happy." Sam turned his hand over, lacing his fingers through hers. "I am afraid too," he said. "Rose has been gone 4 years, but sometimes it feels like yesterday. Sometimes I wake up and reach for her, and she is not there, and I remember all over again. I swore I would never love anyone else, that I could not." He looked at Ka, really looked at her, seeing every scar, every mark, every piece of strength and vulnerability written into her body. "But then you came into my life, and I started feeling things I thought were dead, started wanting to wake up in the morning, started caring about more than just getting through another day." Ka squeezed his hand. "Rose part of you," she said. "She always be part of you. I not try to take her place, but maybe I make new place, different place. We build something new." "Yes, yes," Sam said. The word came out like a prayer. They sat in silence as the stars emerged one by one in the darkening sky. The night air was cool. Somewhere in the distance, an owl called. Finally, Sam stood. He held out his hand to Ka. "Come inside," he said softly. She took his hand and rose to her feet. They walked into the cabin together. Sam lit the oil lamp, adjusting the flame until it cast a warm golden glow across the room. He turned to face her. For a long moment they simply looked at each other. Then Sam stepped closer. He had to tilt his head back to meet her eyes. She had to lean down to hold his gaze. "Can I kiss you?" he asked. Ka nodded, her breath catching. Sam reached up, placed his hand on the back of her neck, and gently pulled her down to meet him. Their lips touched, soft, tentative, a question being asked and answered. The kiss lasted only a few seconds before they pulled apart, both breathing harder, both trembling slightly. "Was that all right?" Sam asked. "Yes," Ka whispered. "More, please." This time when they kissed, it was deeper. Sam's other hand came up to cup her face. Ka's hands found his shoulders, steadying herself against the sudden rush of feeling. The kiss stretched longer, turning from tentative to sure, from question to answer. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. "I want this," Ka said, her voice shaking. "But I afraid, what if I hurt you? What if my body too different?" Sam took both her hands in his. "You will not hurt me. Your body is perfect. You are exactly right." He led her to the bed. They sat on the edge together, the rope frame creaking under their combined weight. "We go slow," Sam said. "We stop whenever you want. You are in control here, Ka. Always." She nodded, her hands trembling. Sam reached for the ties at the back of her dress. His fingers fumbled with the knots, clumsy with nervousness and desire. Ka helped him, reaching back to loosen the laces. The dress fell open, exposing her shoulders, the brand still raw and red against her skin. Sam traced the edge of the scar with one finger, his touch feather light. "This should never have happened to you," he said quietly. "But it did," Ka said. "I cannot change past. I only can make new future." She shrugged the dress off her shoulders, letting it pool at her waist. She wore a thin cotton chemise underneath, worn soft from years of washing. Her breasts were heavy, stretching the fabric. Her shoulders were broad and strong. Sam's breath caught. "You are magnificent," he said, his voice filled with wonder. Ka looked away. "You not have to say that." "I am not saying it because I have to. I am saying it because it is true." He stood, pulling off his shirt, his suspenders, his boots. His body was lean and scarred, muscles defined from years of hard work. A long white scar ran down his left side from a war injury he never talked about. They stood before each other in the lamplight, both half-dressed, both vulnerable. "I do not know how to do this right," Sam admitted. "With Rose it was different. We were both young, both inexperienced. We learned together, but I do not know what you need, what you want." "I not know either," Ka said. "Husbands before they just take. They not care if I feel good. They not care if I hurt. They just finish and leave." Sam's jaw tightened with anger at the men who had treated her so carelessly. "That will not happen here," he said. "Tonight is about you, about making you feel good, about showing you what it should be like when someone touches you with love instead of just need." He stepped closer, placing his hands on her waist. Even standing on his toes, he barely reached her collarbone. "Show me where you like to be touched," he said. Ka hesitated, then guided his hand to her neck just below her ear. Sam leaned up and pressed his lips there, kissing softly. Ka gasped, her head tilting to the side instinctively. "There," she breathed. "That feel good." Sam kissed his way down her neck, feeling her pulse hammering beneath his lips. His hands moved to her shoulders, massaging the tight muscles there. Ka moaned softly, a sound of relief and pleasure mixed together. "No one ever touched me like this," she whispered, "like I fragile, like I precious." "You are precious," Sam murmured against her skin. "To me, you are everything." He helped her lie back on the bed. The chemise rode up, exposing her long legs, thick and strong. Sam ran his hands up her calves over her knees, stopping at her thighs. "Can I touch you here?" he asked. "Yes," Ka said, her voice breathless. His fingers traced patterns on her inner thighs, feeling the muscle beneath the skin, the heat radiating from her core. Ka's breathing grew ragged. Her hips shifted restlessly. "Sam," she gasped. "Something happening. I feel strange, like fire in my belly." "That is good," Sam said. "That means your body is waking up. That means you want this." He slid the chemise up higher over her hips, over her stomach. Ka lifted her arms and he pulled it off completely. She lay before him, naked, exposed, vulnerable, in a way she had never allowed herself to be. Sam's eyes traveled over her body, not with disgust or disappointment, but with wonder. "You are magnificent," he said. He kissed her breasts, taking time with each one, learning what made her gasp, what made her arch her back. His hand moved lower, sliding between her legs, finding the heat there. Ka cried out, her hips bucking. "Is that good?" Sam asked, watching her face. "Yes, oh yes, do not stop." He explored her carefully, his fingers learning the shape of her, finding the place that made her whole body jerk with pleasure. He circled it gently, watching as her breathing grew faster, as her hands clutched the blanket, as her eyes squeezed shut. "I never," "Sam, I never feel anything like this before," she panted. "What, what is this?" "This is what it is supposed to feel like," Sam said. "This is pleasure. This is what those other men should have given you." He increased the pressure slightly, changing the rhythm, and Ka's whole body went rigid. "Sam, something is building. I think I'm going to—" "Let it happen," Sam urged. "Do not fight it. Just feel." Ka's back arched off the bed. A cry tore from her throat, raw and primal. Her body shook as waves of pleasure crashed over her again and again, each one stronger than the last. Tears streamed down her face from the intensity of it. When it finally subsided, she lay gasping, staring at the ceiling in shock. What was that?" she whispered. Sam lay down beside her, pulling her into his arms. "That was an orgasm. That was your body doing what it was designed to do when someone touches you right." Ka turned to look at him, wonder in her eyes. "I 24 years old. No one ever make me feel that before. I thought I broken. I thought something wrong with me." "Nothing is wrong with you," Sam said fiercely. "Those men were wrong. They were selfish and cruel, and they did not deserve you." Ka touched his face, her large hand cupping his cheek. "I want you inside me," she said. "I want feel you. I want know what it like when man make love, not just take." Sam nodded. He stood and removed his trousers. His body was ready, had been ready since the first kiss, but he had held back. This night was about her pleasure, about healing the wounds those other men had left. He positioned himself between her legs. Even aroused, he felt small compared to her. But Ka reached down and guided him to her entrance. "Slow," she said. "Please, slow." He entered her carefully, inch by inch, watching her face for any sign of pain. But there was no pain, just a slow, building fullness, a stretching that felt right instead of wrong. When he was fully inside her, they both stopped breathing hard. "You feel so good," Sam whispered. "So perfect." "You not too small," Ka said, wonder in her voice. "First husband say I too big for any man, but you fit perfect." Sam began to move slow and steady, watching her face, adjusting his angle, when he saw her eyes widen with pleasure. "There," Ka gasped. "Right there. Oh God, Sam, that spot." He maintained the rhythm, hitting that place inside her again and again. Ka's hands gripped his shoulders, her nails digging in, her legs wrapped around his waist, pulling him deeper. "I feel it again," she panted. "That building thing, but stronger, so much stronger." "Let it come," Sam urged. "I am right here with you." Kay's second climax hit her like lightning. She cried out, her whole body convulsing, inner muscles clenching around him so tightly that Sam could not hold back any more. He finished with a groan, collapsing against her chest, both of them trembling with the force of it. They lay tangled together, sweat cooling on their skin, hearts pounding in rhythm. After a long moment, Ka spoke. "That what love is?" Sam lifted his head to look at her. "Part of it." "Yes." "Then I love you, Sam Morrison. I love you so much it hurt." Sam felt tears prick his eyes. "I love you too, Ka, more than I thought I could ever love anyone again." They fell asleep like that, wrapped in each other's arms, two broken people made whole by finding each other. The knock came 3 hours later, sharp and aggressive, shattering the peace. Sam jerked awake, instantly alert. Ka sat up beside him, reaching for her dress. The knock came again, louder. Sam pulled on his trousers and grabbed his rifle. He had not touched it in 4 years, but muscle memory made his hand steady as he checked the load. "Stay inside," he told Ka. "No," she said, standing beside him. "We together, always." Sam looked at her, at the determination in her eyes. He nodded. They walked to the door together. Sam opened it. 4 men stood in the yard. Silas Cord, the butcher, in the center, 3 others flanking him, all armed. "Morrison," Silas called out, "you stole my property. I got a bill of sale says she belongs to me. Hand her over, and we will forget this unpleasantness." Sam stepped onto the porch rifle, held loosely but ready. "She is not property. She is a person, and she stays with me." One of the men, young and nervous, spat in the dirt. "That is horse shit. Indians are not citizens. She is livestock, same as that mule of yours. We got legal right." Ka stepped forward, standing beside Sam, towering over all of them. "I not go," she said, her voice ringing clear. "I stay with Sam. You want take me, you have to kill me first." Silas laughed, but there was no humor in it. "That can be arranged. Breed mare." Sam cocked the rifle, the sound sharp in the morning air. "Any man takes one step toward her answers to me. And I spent 4 years in the war learning how to kill. I am very good at it." The men shifted uneasily. Sam's voice was calm, but his eyes were dead cold. The eyes of a man who had killed before and would kill again. The standoff held. Tension thick enough to choke on. Then hoofbeats, coming fast. 2 riders crested the hill. A woman in a dark dress and a man in a black coat and white collar, Maria Delgado and Reverend Thomas Hansen. They pulled their horses to a stop between the 2 groups. "What is the meaning of this?" Reverend Hansen demanded. "Reverend," Silas said, lowering his gun slightly, "this is none of your concern." "A man threatening violence on the Sabbath is very much my concern," Hansen said coldly. "Explain yourself." "This woman is stolen property. We are here to reclaim her." Maria Delgado dismounted, her face hard as stone. "That woman is no one's property. Slavery has been illegal for 18 years. Or did you miss that war, Silas? She is Indian, not a citizen." Reverend Hansen walked toward Ka, his eyes kind. "What is your name, child?" "Nasha Katahoma," she said quietly. "And do you wish to go with these men?" "No, I wish to stay with Sam." Hansen turned to Sam. "Do you want her to stay?" "Yes, Reverend, more than anything." Hansen looked back at Silas. "Then the matter is settled. She chooses to stay. That is her right as a human being." "The hell it is," one of Silas's men shouted. "Actually," Hansen said, pulling a paper from his coat, "according to the Indian Citizenship Act, currently being debated in Washington, indigenous peoples have the right to choose their own residence and occupation. I have friends in the territorial government. One telegram and this becomes a federal matter. Is that what you want?" "Silas?" Silas's face went red. "This is not over, Morrison. You made an enemy today." "I already had enemies," Sam said. "One more does not scare me." The men mounted their horses and rode away, dust rising behind them. When they were gone, Sam lowered his rifle. His hands were shaking now, adrenaline draining away. Maria walked to Ka, looked up at her. "You are safe now, child. I am Maria Delgado. I run the trading post at Cottonwood Creek. If you ever need help, you come to me." Ka nodded, tears streaming down her face. Reverend Hansen approached Sam. "That was brave, Samuel. Foolish, but brave." "I could not let them take her." Hansen studied him for a long moment. "You care for this woman." "I love her," Sam said simply. Hansen looked at Ka, then back at Sam. "Then marry her. Make it legal. Make it binding. No one can claim her if she is your wife, under law and God." Sam turned to Ka. "Ka, will you marry me? Will you be my wife? Not because it is strategic, but because I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Ka dropped to her knees so they were eye to eye. "Yes. Forever, yes." And there in the dusty yard, with the sun rising over the mountains and witnesses who had ridden through the night to save them, Samuel Morrison and Nasha Katahoma promised themselves to each other for all the days to come. Reverend Thomas Hansen stood in the morning light, his black coat dusty from the ride, his face lined with exhaustion and something approaching joy. He had performed 17 weddings in his 12 years, serving the scattered congregations of Central Arizona Territory. Most had been perfunctory affairs. Young people marrying because it was expected, older people marrying for land or money or simple companionship. This was different. He saw it in the way Samuel Morrison looked at the Apache woman kneeling before him, in the way her hands, large enough to crush stone, trembled as she reached for his, in the way they seemed to orbit each other like celestial bodies bound by invisible forces. "We should do this properly," Hansen said. "Inside. with witnesses and dignity. Maria Delgado nodded. She was already moving toward the cabin, her practical mind cataloging what needed to be done. She turned back to Ka. "You cannot marry in a torn-dressed child. Come, I have something better." Ka looked at Sam, uncertain. He nodded encouragingly. "Go. I will wait." The two women disappeared into the cabin. Sam stood alone with Reverend Hansen in the yard. The sun was climbing higher now, burning off the cool of early morning. In the distance, cattle lowed. A hawk circled overhead, riding thermals invisible to earthbound eyes. "You are certain about this?" Hansen asked quietly. "The community will not be kind. There are those who will see this as an abomination, a white man marrying an Apache woman, a civilized Christian marrying a savage." Sam's jaw tightened. With respect, Reverend, anyone who calls Ka a savage has never looked her in the eyes. She is the kindest person I have ever known. She is good and honest and stronger than any 10 men I served with in the war. I would be honored to call her my wife. Hansen studied him for a long moment, then smiled, the expression transforming his stern face. "Good. That is exactly what I needed to hear, because I have married too many people who saw their spouse as a convenience or a duty. It is rare to see actual love." He paused, then added more quietly, "Your first wife, Rose, she would want this for you. She would want you to live again." Sam felt his throat tighten. He had thought about Rose constantly these past weeks, wondering if loving Ka was a betrayal, wondering if moving forward meant leaving Rose behind. "I think you are right," he said finally. "Rose had the biggest heart of anyone I ever knew. She would have liked Ka. She would have seen what I see." "Then let us give you both the wedding you deserve." Inside the cabin, Maria was working quickly. She had brought a dress in her saddlebag, a simple garment of cream-colored cotton with hand-embroidered flowers along the collar. It had been her daughter's, made for a wedding that never happened after the girl died of fever at 19. "It will be too small," Ka said, looking at the delicate fabric. "We will make it fit," Maria said firmly. She helped Ka out of the torn deerskin dress, revealing the undergarments Sam had purchased for her in Prescott 2 weeks ago. Plain cotton, practical, but clean and whole. The brand on Ka's shoulder was still visible, the scar tissue raised and angry. Maria touched it gently. "Men who do this are not men. They are devils wearing skin." She pulled the cream dress over Ka's head. As expected, it was too tight across the shoulders, too short in the arms, barely contained her chest. But Maria was resourceful. She cut the sleeves off entirely, leaving Ka's strong arms bare. She let out the side seams with quick stitches, adding panels of fabric from her own petticoat. She could not make the dress longer, so Ka's calves showed muscular and scarred. When she finished, she stepped back. "You are beautiful," she said simply. Ka looked down at herself, then at the small mirror hanging on the cabin wall. She barely recognized the woman looking back, clean, dressed in white, about to be married to a man who saw her as human. Tears welled in her eyes. "I never think this happened for me," she whispered. "Never think any man want me for wife, for real wife, not just worker or breeding animal." Maria took both of Ka's hands in hers. "Samuel Morrison is a good man. He sees you truly, and you deserve to be seen. You deserve to be loved. Never forget that." She pulled a small bundle from her pocket. Inside were wildflowers picked that morning on her ride to the ranch. Desert marigolds, bright yellow against green stems, Apache plume white and delicate. She wove them quickly into Ka's braid, creating a crown of color. "There," Maria said, satisfaction in her voice. "Now you are ready." They emerged from the cabin. Sam was waiting on the porch, and when he saw Ka, his breath stopped. She was radiant. The morning sun caught in her hair, making the flowers glow. The white dress, imperfect as it was, made her skin seem to glow bronze and gold. She stood tall, no longer hunched or apologetic, but proud. "Ka," he breathed. "You are the most precious person I have ever known." She smiled, a real smile that lit her entire face. Reverend Hansen opened his Bible. The four of them stood in a small circle on the porch. No church, no congregation, no music, just four people, and the Word of God and the vast Arizona sky bearing witness. Dearly beloved, Hansen began his voice, taking on the formal cadence of ceremony. We are gathered here in the sight of God and these witnesses to join together Samuel Morrison and Nasha Katahoma in holy matrimony. He looked at each of them in turn. Marriage is not to be entered into lightly, but reverently, deliberately, and in accordance with the purposes for which it was instituted by God. Into this holy union these two persons present, now come to be joined. He turned to Sam. Samuel Morrison, do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do you part? Sam looked directly at Ka, his gray eyes steady and sure. I do. With all my heart, I do. Hansen turned to Ka. Nasha Katahoma, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do you part? Ka's voice rang clear and strong. I do. I take him forever. Hansen smiled. The ring. Sam reached into his pocket and pulled out a simple silver band. It had been his mother's, the only piece of her he still owned. He had carried it through the war, through his marriage to Rose, through 4 years of grief. He had been saving it without knowing what for. Now he knew. He took Ka's left hand. Her fingers were long and strong, scarred from work. The ring was too small. He could only slide it onto her smallest finger, and even then it was tight. I am sorry, he said quietly. I will get you a proper ring, one that fits. Ka shook her head. This perfect, this yours, this matter. She had nothing to give him in return. No ring, no token. She looked around desperately, then reached up and pulled a single flower from her hair. Yellow marigold, still fresh and bright. She tucked it into the buttonhole of Sam's shirt over his heart. I give this. I give me. All I have. Sam covered her hand with his. It is more than enough. Reverend Hansen raised his voice, projecting across the empty desert as if speaking to multitudes instead of 3 people. By the power vested in me, by the territory of Arizona, and by the grace of God, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Samuel, you may kiss your bride. Sam had to stand on his toes. Ka had to bend down. They met in the middle lips, touching in a kiss that tasted of salt and joy and promises made to be kept. When they pulled apart, both were smiling through emotions too large for words. Maria clapped the sound sharp and celebratory. Reverend Hansen closed his Bible with a satisfied snap. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Morrison. May God bless your union and keep you all the days of your life. Maria produced a small bottle of wine from her saddlebag. For celebrating, she said, pouring 4 small cups. To love found in unexpected places. To courage in the face of cruelty. To 2 people who deserve every happiness. They drank. The wine was sweet and warm. Reverend Hansen pulled out a marriage certificate already partially filled in. He added the date, the names, and his signature. Maria signed as witness. The ink dried in the desert air. This makes it legal, Hansen said, handing the paper to Sam. Guard it well. It is your protection and hers. Sam folded it carefully and placed it in his Bible. After Maria and the Reverend departed, promising to spread word of the marriage through the community, Sam and Ka stood alone in the yard, husband and wife, legally bound, protected by law and God. Ka looked at the silver ring on her finger, turning it in the sunlight. I wife now, she said, wonder in her voice. Real wife, not fake, not temporary, real. Real, Sam confirmed. He took her hand. And I am your husband, which means what is mine is yours. This ranch, this land, this life we are building. It belongs to both of us now. They spent the rest of the day working side by side as they had for weeks, but everything felt different now, weighted with new meaning. When Sam handed Ka a tool, Their fingers lingered. When Ka reached past Sam for a water bucket, her arm brushed his shoulder, and both of them smiled. That evening they ate dinner on the porch as the sun set. Simple food, beans and cornbread and coffee, but it tasted like celebration. As darkness fell, they went inside together. Sam lit the lamp. Ka closed the door. They stood facing each other in the soft golden light. "I am your wife now," Ka said. "I want be wife in all ways." Sam stepped closer. "Are you certain we do not have to rush? We have all the time in the world now." "I certain. I want you. I want this." They undressed each other slowly, taking time now that they had not taken before. Sam traced every scar on Kay's body with his fingers, then with his lips. The brand on her shoulder, the marks from shackles on her wrists, the thin white lines across her back from whips used by men who saw her as property. "You are free now," he whispered against her skin. "No one will ever hurt you again. I swear it." Ka explored his body in turn, the war scar along his ribs, the rope burn on his shoulder from hauling hay, the calluses on his palms. She memorized him with her hands. When they came together, it was slower than before, more deliberate. They were learning each other's rhythms, learning what brought pleasure, what brought gasps, what brought that perfect moment of release. Afterward, they lay tangled together, Ka's head on Sam's chest, his fingers tracing patterns on her back. "Tell me about Rose," Ka said quietly. Sam tensed, then relaxed. "You want to know? Yes, she part of you. I want know all of you." Sam was silent for a moment, gathering memories like scattered coins. She was small, 5 feet 2 inches, blonde hair that curled no matter how she tried to straighten it. Blue eyes. She laughed easily, cried easily, felt everything deeply. He paused, then continued. "We met at a church social. She was 17, I was 20. She spilled lemonade on my shirt and was so mortified she cried. I told her it did not matter shirts wash. She looked up at me with those huge blue eyes and said I was the kindest man she ever met." Ka smiled against his chest. "She right. You are kind." "We married 6 months later. Her parents did not approve, thought I was too poor, too rough. But Rose did not care. She said love mattered more than money." His voice grew quieter. "She got pregnant right away. She was so happy. Made baby clothes, planned names. But the pregnancy was hard. She was sick constantly, lost weight. The midwife warned us, said Rose was too small, too delicate, but Rose insisted she would be fine." Ka felt tears on her chest, Sam's tears falling silently. Labor started early, lasted 16 hours. The baby was breech, feet first. Rose screamed until she had no voice left. The midwife tried to turn the baby but could not. Finally Lily came, blue, silent, dead. His voice broke. Rose held her once, kissed her forehead. Then the bleeding started. Nothing stopped it. Rose knew. She looked at me and said, "I am sorry I could not give you a family." Then she closed her eyes and was gone. Ka held him tighter. "Not your fault," she said fiercely. "Not Rose's fault. Just terrible thing that happened. You not could stop it." "I know that now," Sam said. "But for 4 years I blamed myself. Thought if I had done something different, gotten the doctor sooner, not gotten her pregnant at all, she would still be alive." He lifted his head to look at Ka. "But then you came, and you showed me that I could care again, that I could want to wake up in the morning, that I could build something new without forgetting what I lost." Ka kissed him gently. "Rose always with you, in here." She placed her hand over his heart. "She part of you. And now I part of you too. We all together, all family." Sam pulled her close. "I love you, Morrison." She smiled at the sound of her new name. "I love you, Sam Morrison, my husband." They fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other, two people who had found home in the most unlikely place. 3 months passed. Fall turned to winter. The desert grew cold at night, frost forming on the windows. Sam and Ka worked together to prepare for the harsh season. They cut wood, until the pile behind the cabin was taller than Sam. They salted meat, stored vegetables in the root cellar, reinforced the barn against snow that might or might not come. The community slowly, grudgingly began to accept them. Some still whispered, some still turned away when they came to town, but others nodded in greeting. Sarah Crenshaw, the neighbor's wife, brought over a basket of preserves with a quiet apology for her earlier coldness. The mercantile owner sold them supplies without doubling the prices. And through it all, Sam and Ka grew closer. They developed private jokes, finished each other's sentences, could communicate entire conversations with a glance. On a cold December morning, Ka woke feeling strange. Her stomach was unsettled. Her breasts were tender. She dismissed it as something she ate, but the feeling persisted. Days turned to weeks. Her courses, regular as clockwork for years, did not come. She said nothing at first, did not want to hope, did not want to believe. But her body kept changing. Her breasts grew heavier. Her belly, always flat and muscular, began to curve outward slightly. Her sense of smell became acute. The coffee Sam made every morning, which she loved, suddenly made her nauseated. Finally, on a January afternoon, while Sam was in town buying supplies, she rode to Maria Delgado's trading post. Maria took one look at her face and knew. "How far along?" she asked. I not know for certain. Maybe 3 months, maybe 4. Maria guided her to a back room, examined her gently but thoroughly, felt her belly, checked her breasts, asked questions about her symptoms. When she finished, she was smiling. "You are with child Ka, maybe 4 months like you said. The baby is growing well. You are healthy and strong. Everything is as it should be." Ka sat down heavily, her legs suddenly weak. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. "But doctors say I cannot. Say my body wrong. Say I never have baby." Maria's expression hardened. "Those doctors were fools. Your body is not wrong. It is different. But different is not broken. You are carrying a child, and from what I can feel, a strong, healthy child." Ka started crying. Great heaving sobs of relief and joy and terror all mixed together. "What if something wrong? What if baby die like Sam's first baby? What if I die like Rose?" Maria knelt in front of her, taking both her hands. "Listen to me. You are not Rose. Rose was tiny and fragile. You are strong. Your hips are wide. Your body is built for this. Yes, there are always risks. Birth is dangerous for any woman. But you have better chances than most." She squeezed Ka's hands. "And I will be with you. I have delivered 43 babies in my life. I know what I am doing. You will not face this alone." Ka nodded, wiping her eyes. "I tell Sam tonight. He be happy. He will be overjoyed," Maria said with certainty. That evening, Ka paced the cabin like a caged animal waiting for Sam to return. When she finally heard the wagon, she ran outside. Sam jumped down, concerned by her expression. "What is wrong? Are you all right?" "I fine," Ka said. Then in a rush, "I pregnant. We going to have baby." For a moment, Sam just stared at her. Then his face crumpled. "Are you certain? How do you know?" "Maria check me. She say 4 months. She say baby healthy. She say I healthy." Sam's eyes filled with tears. He reached for her, then hesitated. Can I touch you? Touch your belly." Ka took his hand and placed it on the small swell below her navel. "Our baby here, growing, real." Sam dropped to his knees in the dirt, his forehead pressed against her stomach, and wept. Great wrenching sobs that came from somewhere deep and primal. "I thought I would never have this," he choked out. "Never have a family again, never hold my child. But you gave this back to me." Ka knelt down, pulling him into her arms. "We give it to each other. We make this life together." They held each other as the sun set, as the first stars emerged, as the desert night wrapped around them. Two people who had lost everything. Two people who had been told they were broken, useless, unworthy of love. Creating new life together. Building a future from the ashes of their pasts. And for the first time in years, both of them believed that future might actually be beautiful. The pregnancy transformed Ka in ways that went beyond her changing body. For the first time in her life, she felt precious, valuable, not for what she could do or how much weight she could carry, but simply for existing, for carrying the life growing inside her. Sam became almost comically protective. He tried to take over all the heavy work, insisting she rest. Ka, practical and stubborn, refused. "I not made of glass," she said, lifting a water bucket he had tried to carry for her. "Baby make me strong, not weak. I work until baby say stop." But she did accept some accommodations. Sam built a wider chair for the cabin, padded with quilts. He made sure she ate first and ate well. He rubbed her feet every evening when they swelled. He talked to her belly, telling their unborn child stories about the ranch, about the cattle, about the life they were building together. The winter passed slowly. News of Ka's pregnancy spread through the community. Reactions were mixed. Some women, led by Sarah Crenshaw, began visiting the ranch, bringing gifts of baby clothes, offering advice, treating Ka like one of them. Others whispered that it was unnatural, that the child would be cursed, that no good could come from such a union. Sam and Ka ignored the whispers. They had each other. They had hope. Nothing else mattered. In late February, Maria Delgado rode out to the ranch for the first of what would be monthly examinations. She brought herbs, medical supplies, and her years of experience. "The baby is positioned well," she announced after checking Ka. "Head down, strong heartbeat. You are doing everything right." "When baby come?" Ka asked. Maria calculated, counting on her fingers. "If my guess is right, sometime in early June, maybe late May. First babies often come when they are ready, not when we expect them." She looked at Sam seriously. "You must prepare. Childbirth is not easy, even for a woman as strong as Ka. There will be pain. There will be blood. You must be ready to help, to stay calm, to do what I tell you without question." Sam nodded, his face pale but determined. "I will do whatever is needed. I will not fail her the way I failed Rose." Maria's expression softened. "You did not fail Rose. Rose's body could not survive that birth. But Ka is different, stronger. Trust her strength, Samuel, and trust mine." As winter gave way to spring, Ka's belly grew impossibly large. By April she looked ready to deliver, her stomach stretched tight as a drum. But Maria assured them this was normal. "You are a big woman carrying what I suspect is a big baby. Everything is progressing as it should." Ka struggled with the size of her belly. Simple tasks became difficult. Bending to pick up dropped items, rolling over in bed, getting up from a chair. She grew frustrated with her own body, snapping at Sam when he tried to help. One evening in late April, she sat on the porch crying in frustration. "I too big," she sobbed. "I cannot see my feet. I cannot fit through door without turning sideways." "I feel like cow." Sam sat beside her, taking her hand. "You are creating a miracle. Your body is doing exactly what it is supposed to do, and you are more beautiful now than ever. You lie to make me feel good." "I have never lied to you, not once. And I am not starting now." He placed his hand on her belly. The baby kicked hard, a visible ripple across Ka's stomach. "See? The baby agrees. You are perfect." Ka laughed through her tears, the sound watery but genuine. The baby became more active as spring progressed. Sam loved feeling the kicks, the rolls, the hiccups that made Ka's whole belly jump. He would lie with his head on her stomach, talking to their child. "Hello in there, little one. This is your father. I cannot wait to meet you. Your mother and I have been preparing. We have a cradle ready. Blankets. Clothes your Aunt Maria made. We have a whole world waiting for you." Ka would run her fingers through his hair, smiling at his one-sided conversations. "You think boy or girl?" she asked one evening. Sam considered. "I do not know, and I do not care. Healthy is all that matters." "I think girl," Ka said. She kicked like warrior, strong and fierce. "Like her mother," Sam said, kissing Ka's belly. May arrived hot and dry. The desert bloomed briefly, wildflowers erupting in riots of color before the heat burned them away. Ka grew more uncomfortable. Her back ached constantly. Her ankles swelled. She could not sleep more than an hour or two at a time before needing to shift positions or use the chamber pot. But through it all, there was joy, anticipation, the kind of happiness that comes from knowing something wonderful is about to happen. On June 3, 1884, Ka woke at dawn with a strange feeling. Not pain, exactly, just a tightness across her belly that came and went in waves. She lay still, timing the sensation. Every 20 minutes, then every 15, then every 10. She touched Sam's shoulder. "Sam, wake up." He jolted awake instantly, the old war reflexes still sharp. "What is wrong?" "I think baby coming." Sam was out of bed and pulling on his trousers before Ka could blink. "Are you certain? Should I get Maria?" "Oh God, what do I do first?" Ka caught his hand, her grip firm, despite the contraction rolling through her belly. "Breathe, husband. We have time. Baby's not come fast. You get Maria. I prepare here." Sam nodded, kissed her quickly, and ran for the barn. Within minutes, he had saddled the horse and was galloping toward Maria's trading post 15 miles south. Ka moved slowly, deliberately. She stripped the bed and remade it with old sheets Maria had set aside for this purpose. She filled the kettle and set it to boil. She laid out the supplies Maria had left: clean cloth scissors, twine herbs for pain, and to stop bleeding after. By the time she finished, the contractions were coming every 8 minutes, stronger now, demanding her attention. She breathed through them, hands braced on the table, remembering what Maria had taught her. Do not fight the pain. Ride it like a wave. Let your body do what it knows how to do. 2 hours later, Sam returned with Maria and Sarah Crenshaw. Both women carried bags filled with supplies. Maria assessed Ka quickly, her experienced hands checking dilation position, the baby's heartbeat. "You are doing beautifully," she said. "Maybe 4 fingers dilated. Baby is in good position. Everything is progressing normally." She looked at Sam, who was hovering anxiously. "Boil more water. Bring clean towels. Then I need you to help Ka walk. Movement helps labor progress." Sam obeyed, grateful for tasks. He supported Ka as she paced the cabin, stopping every few minutes when contractions hit. She gripped his arms hard enough to bruise breathing in harsh gasps. "I am here," Sam murmured. "I am right here. You are so strong. You can do this." The hours crawled by. Morning became afternoon. Afternoon became evening. The contractions grew closer, harder, stealing Ka's breath. She tried different positions, squatting, on hands and knees, lying on her side. Nothing gave relief. By sunset she was exhausted. 8 hours of labor, and still the baby had not come. "How much longer?" she gasped. Maria checked again, her face neutral. "You are almost there. Maybe 1 more hour, 2 at most. The baby's head is right there. I can feel it." But 2 hours became 3. 3 became 4. Night fell fully. Oil lamps cast flickering shadows on the cabin walls. Ka's strength was fading. She had not eaten since morning, had barely drunk water. Her body was running on reserves that were almost gone. "I cannot," she whispered. "I too tired. I cannot do more." Maria's face grew stern. "Yes, you can. You are the strongest woman I have ever known. You have survived things that would have killed anyone else. You will survive this." She looked at Sam. "Help me get her upright. Gravity will help." They positioned Ka in a squat, Maria supporting one side, Sam, the other Sarah, bracing her back. The next contraction hit like a thunderbolt. Ka screamed a sound that was pure animal, pure survival. "Push," Maria commanded. "Push now." Ka bore down with everything she had left. She felt something shift, something give. Pressure like she had never imagined. Again, the head is coming. Push again. Another contraction. Another push. Ka felt herself tearing, felt pain so intense the world went white. But she did not stop. Could not stop. "The head is out," Maria shouted. "1 more push for the shoulders." Ka gathered every atom of strength remaining in her body, pushed with a force that seemed to come from somewhere beyond herself. And suddenly release. A rush of fluid and blood, and then impossibly a cry, a baby's cry, loud and angry and gloriously alive. Maria caught the infant working quickly to clear the mouth and nose. The baby cried harder, small fists waving. "It is a girl," Maria announced, laughing with relief and joy. "A beautiful, perfect, healthy girl." She placed the baby on Ka's chest. Kay's arms, trembling with exhaustion, wrapped around her daughter. The baby was large as Maria had predicted, 12 pounds, robust and strong, but perfectly formed. 10 fingers, 10 toes, a shock of black hair, skin the color of warm honey somewhere between Sam's pale tan and Ka's deeper bronze, and eyes. Even in the lamplight they could see them, gray-blue. Sam's eyes in a tiny face. Ka started crying, great heaving sobs of relief and joy and overwhelming love. "My baby," she whispered. "My daughter. You here, you real, you alive." Sam was crying too, kneeling beside the bed, his hand on the baby's tiny head. "We have a daughter," he breathed. "Ka, we have a daughter." Maria worked efficiently, delivering the afterbirth checking for excessive bleeding, stitching the tears Ka had sustained. Sarah cleaned the baby gently while Ka rested, then wrapped her in a soft blanket and placed her back in her mother's arms. The baby rooted toward Ka's breast instinctively. Maria helped position her, and within moments the infant was nursing strongly. "She knows what to do," Maria said approvingly. "Good, strong suckle. She is going to thrive." Sam sat on the edge of the bed, his arm around Ka, watching their daughter nurse. He had never felt anything like this completeness, this rightness. "What do we name her?" he asked softly. Ka looked at him, remembering their conversations about his first wife, his first daughter, about honoring the past while building the future. "I think Rose Lily," she said quietly, "for the ones you lost, for the ones who brought you to me. Rose Lily Morrison." Sam's face crumpled. Fresh tears spilled down his cheeks. "Are you certain she is your daughter? You should choose her name." "She our daughter," Ka corrected. "Both of ours. And Rose and Lily part of our family even though they gone. We honor them, we remember them, and we give our daughter their names so they live on." Sam kissed Ka's forehead, then the baby's. "Rose Lily Morrison," he said, testing the name. "It is perfect. She is perfect. You are perfect." Maria and Sarah stayed through the night, making sure both mother and baby were stable. By morning, when the sun rose over the desert, Ka was sleeping peacefully, Rose Lily nestled in her arms. Sam sat in a chair beside the bed, keeping watch. He had not slept, could not sleep, could only stare at his wife and daughter, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what had just happened. He thought about Rose, his first wife, about Lily, his first daughter, about the 4 years he had spent believing he would never have this again, and he thought about Ka, this woman who had been sold as livestock, who had been told she was broken, defective, incapable of bearing children, this woman who had just given birth to the most beautiful baby he had ever seen. The doctors had been wrong. The husbands who blamed her had been wrong. The whole cruel world that judged her had been wrong. She was not broken. She was magnificent. As if sensing his thoughts, Ka stirred. Her eyes opened immediately, seeking out the baby still sleeping in her arms, then finding Sam. "We did it," she whispered. "You did it," Sam corrected. "I just held your hand." "No, we did it together, always together." Sam leaned down and kissed her gently. "Always together," he agreed. Rose Lily woke then, making small mewling sounds. Ka shifted her to nurse again, wincing at the soreness but smiling through it. Sam watched his daughter eat with the same fierce determination her mother approached everything, strong, stubborn, refusing to give up. "She is going to be a force," he said with amusement. "Like her mother," Ka said proudly. "Like both her parents," Sam corrected. They sat in comfortable silence as morning light filled the cabin. Outside, birds began their dawn chorus. Cattle stirred in the corral. The ranch woke slowly to a new day. A day with one more person in it, one more life, one more chance at happiness. In the weeks that followed, the Morrison Ranch became a hub of activity. Women from the community, even some who had been cold before, came to see the baby. They brought gifts, food, advice. Gradually, Ka became not just accepted, but embraced. Sarah Crenshaw became a particular friend, visiting twice a week to help with chores while Ka recovered. She taught Ka tricks for soothing a fussy baby, for managing sleepless nights, for finding moments of rest when the work seemed endless. "You are a natural mother," Sarah said one afternoon, watching Ka nurse Rose Lily while simultaneously stirring a pot of stew. "I know they told you otherwise, but they were fools." And Ka smiled, still getting used to compliments. "I afraid at first, afraid I do it wrong, but then I realize I just do what feel right, and it work." Rose Lily grew quickly. By 2 months she had doubled her birth weight. By 4 months she was enormous, the size of a 6-month-old. She rolled over early, sat up early, reached for everything with greedy hands. She had her father's eyes and her mother's strength. And she had a laugh that could light up the darkest room. Sam was besotted. He would hold her for hours, talking to her, singing off-key lullabies, letting her grasp his fingers with surprising force. "She is going to be tall like you," he told Ka one evening as they watched Rose Lily attempt to crawl. "Look at those legs, already so long." "Good," Ka said. "She be strong. She be proud of her size. Not ashamed like I was." "We will make sure of that," Sam promised. "She will grow up knowing she is perfect, exactly as she is." As fall approached and Rose Lily reached 4 months old, Sam and Ka fell into new rhythms. They took turns with night feedings, traded off chores so each could rest, learned to communicate in the shorthand of exhausted parents, and through it all their love deepened. Not the passionate intensity of new lovers, but something richer, more grounded. The kind of love built on shared work, shared exhaustion, shared joy. One evening, after Rose Lily had finally fallen asleep, they sat on the porch in their usual spots. The stars were beginning to emerge. The air was cooling after another hot day. Ka reached for Sam's hand. "You happy?" she asked. Sam looked at her. At this woman who had transformed his life so completely, he barely recognized the man he had been before her. "I am happier than I ever thought I could be again," he said honestly. "You gave me back everything I thought I had lost. Purpose, joy, family, love." He paused, then added quietly, "I know I still carry Rose and Lily with me. I always will. But that does not mean I love you any less. You did not replace them. You gave me a new life alongside the memories of my old one." Ka squeezed his hand. "I understand. I carry my own ghosts. My mother, my father, the girl I was before the world tried to break me. But now I have new life too, new memories, good memories." She smiled. "We both get second chance. Not many people get that." "No," Sam agreed. "We are very lucky." They sat in silence, watching the stars multiply across the vast desert sky. Inside the cabin, their daughter slept peacefully, safe and loved and wanted. Two people who had survived the unsurvivable, who had found each other against impossible odds, who had built something beautiful from the ruins of their separate pasts, and who would spend the rest of their lives grateful for the miracle of this second chance at happiness. Time moved differently once Rose Lily entered their lives. The days blurred into weeks, weeks into months, marked not by calendar dates, but by milestones. First tooth, first word, first steps taken on wobbly legs across the cabin floor, while Sam and Ka held their breath, ready to catch her if she fell. By the time Rose Lily celebrated her first birthday in June of 1885, she was walking confidently, chattering in a mix of English and Apache words. Ka taught her, and already showing signs of inheriting her mother's remarkable size. At 12 months, she wore clothes meant for 2-year-olds. The ranch prospered. With Ka's strength and Sam's knowledge, they expanded the herd to 30 head of cattle. They planted a larger garden, built a second corral, repaired the barn until it stood straight and true. Money was still tight, but they had enough. More importantly, they had each other. Maria Delgado remained a constant presence, visiting monthly to check on Rose Lily and to bring news from the wider world. On a warm September afternoon, she arrived with a letter that would change everything. Sam read it twice, his hands trembling slightly. "What'd it say?" Ka asked, bouncing Rose Lily on her hip, while the toddler grabbed for her braid. "It is from the territorial government in Prescott, about the Indian Citizenship Act." He looked up, his eyes bright. "Ka, they are granting citizenship to indigenous people who have integrated into white society. You qualify. You could become a legal citizen of the United States." Ka stared at him, not quite comprehending. "What that mean?" "It means you would have legal rights, property rights, the right to testify in court, the right to protection under law. No one could ever claim you are property again. You would be recognized as a person fully and legally." He stood, taking her free hand. "It means our marriage would be protected. Rose Lily would be protected. Everything we have built would be secure." Ka sat down slowly, Rose Lily squirming in her lap. "I can be citizen like you." "Yes, if you want it." "I want it," Ka said immediately. "I want all protection for our daughter, for our family." The process took 3 months. Papers had to be filed. Witnesses had to testify. Reverend Hansen wrote a letter of support. Maria Delgado submitted a sworn statement. Even Sarah Crenshaw, once skeptical, wrote praising Ka's character and integration into the community. In December of 1885, Nasha Ka Morrison officially became a citizen of the United States. The certificate arrived by mail official and stamped and irrevocable. Sam framed it and hung it on the cabin wall next to their marriage certificate. "No one can take this from you," he said, touching the frame. "You are free, truly free." Ka looked at the paper, at the words declaring her a person under law, and cried tears of relief she had held back for years. Winter came hard that year. Snow fell in the high country, rare for Arizona, but not unheard of. The ranch hunkered down. Sam and Ka kept the fire burning, kept the animals fed, kept Rose Lily warm, and entertained through the long cold nights. On Christmas morning, with snow dusting the ground outside, they gave Rose Lily her first real present, a wooden horse Sam had carved smooth and painted with a tail made from real horsehair. Rose Lily shrieked with delight, immediately galloping around the cabin making horse sounds while her parents laughed. "She is so much like you," Sam said to Ka, "strong and fearless and full of joy." "She like both of us," Ka corrected. "Your kindness, my strength, best of both." That afternoon, as Rose Lily napped, Ka told Sam she was pregnant again. "I'm not certain yet, but I think yes, maybe 2 months." Sam's face went through a series of emotions: joy, fear, wonder. "Are you all right? How do you feel?" "I feel good. Tired, but good. Body different than last time. I think maybe this time boy." "Boy or girl, healthy is what matters," Sam said, but she could see the hope in his eyes, the dream of a son. The second pregnancy was easier than the first. Ka knew what to expect. Her body, having done this once, seemed to remember the process. She carried smaller this time, her belly neat and round, instead of overwhelming. In August of 1886, Thomas Samuel Morrison was born. Labor lasted only 4 hours. The baby came quickly, almost too quickly, Maria barely arriving in time. Thomas was smaller than his sister had been. 8 pounds average size, with sandy brown hair and his mother's dark eyes. He was quiet where Rose Lily had been, loud, contemplative where she was energetic. "He is a thinker," Sam said, watching his 2-day-old son stare solemnly at the ceiling. "I can already see it." Rose Lily, now 14 months old, was fascinated by her baby brother. She would sit next to Ka while Thomas nursed, patting his head gently, singing to him in the Apache lullabies Ka had taught her. Gentle Ka would remind her, "Baby small, careful." "I careful, Mama," Rose Lily would insist in her toddler voice. "I good sister." The ranch needed to expand again with 4 mouths to feed. Sam and Ka worked harder than ever, but now they had help. Rose Lily, even at barely 2, insisted on having jobs, collecting eggs from the chickens they had acquired, carrying small buckets of water, feeding scraps to the pigs. "She is too young for chores," Sam protested. "She want help. She want to be useful. Like me at her age. We let her." So Rose Lily became the youngest ranch hand in Arizona Territory, proudly doing her small tasks while her baby brother watched from a sling on Ka's back. The years rolled forward, 1887, 1888, 1889. Rose Lily started school at age 4, already reading from the Bible Sam had taught her. She was the tallest child in the classroom by 6 inches. Some children teased her. She handled it the way her mother had taught her. She stood tall, looked them in the eye, said, "I am big because I am strong. You are small because you are weak." The teacher had to intervene, but privately she told Ka she was proud of Rose Lily's confidence. Thomas was quieter, more bookish. He loved stories, would sit for hours while Sam read to him, absorbing every word. By age 3, he was teaching himself letters. By 4, he could read simple sentences. "We have a scholar," Sam said with pride. In the spring of 1890, Ka discovered she was pregnant a 3rd time. She was 31 now, Sam 43. They had not planned for another child, but they welcomed the news. This pregnancy was different, harder. Ka was older, her body more worn from years of hard labor and previous births. She tired easily. Her back ached constantly. Maria insisted she rest more, work less. "You are not 20 anymore," Maria said firmly. "You need to be careful." Ka tried, but it was not in her nature to sit idle. She worked until her body forced her to stop, cooked until her feet swelled too much to stand, cared for her children until exhaustion dragged her to bed. In January of 1891, Maria Rose Morrison was born, named for the woman who had saved Ka's life in more ways than one, and for the wife Sam had never forgotten. The labor was brutal, 30 hours. Ka hemorrhaged badly after the birth. Maria worked frantically to stop the bleeding, packing Ka with cloths, administering herbs, praying under her breath. Sam held Ka's hand, watching her skin go pale, her breathing grow shallow. He had seen this before, with Rose, and terror clawed at his throat. "Ka, stay with me," he begged. "Please, the children need you. I need you. Do not leave me." Ka's eyes fluttered open. She looked at him with that same fierce determination that had kept her alive through everything. "I not leave," she whispered. "I promise. I not leave." And she did not. Through sheer force of will, she clung to life. The bleeding slowed, stopped. Color returned to her cheeks. Maria Delgado, exhausted and 61 years old, sat down hard on the floor. "That woman is too stubborn to die," she said, laughing with relief. "Thank God for it." Baby Maria was tiny, only 6 pounds, the smallest of Ka's children. She was delicate, fragile in a way her siblings had never been. For the first week they worried she would not survive. But she did. She nursed. She gained weight. She grew stronger. "She is a fighter," Ka said, cradling her youngest daughter. Small, but fierce. The family was complete now. Sam and Ka agreed there would be no more children. Ka's body had given everything it could. 3 healthy children was more than either of them had ever dreamed possible. The years continued their relentless march. 1892, 1893, 1894. Rose Lily grew tall, topping 6 feet by age 9. She was her mother's daughter in every way, strong, confident, unashamed of her size. She helped run the ranch, doing the work of a grown man by age 10. Thomas was quieter, but no less valuable. He kept the books, managed the finances, negotiated sales with a shrewd intelligence that impressed buyers twice his age. Little Maria was the heart of the family. Sweet-natured and gentle, she kept the peace between her strong-willed siblings, made everyone laugh, saw beauty in everything. "We did well," Sam said one evening in 1895, watching his children play in the yard. Rose Lily was teaching Thomas to rope fence posts. Maria was making flower crowns from desert blooms. "We did very well," Ka agreed. She was 36 now, her hair showing the first threads of silver. Her hands were scarred from decades of hard work, but her eyes were bright with contentment. Time jumped forward. 1899. Rose Lily was 15, already fielding marriage proposals from young men brave enough to approach a 6'3" woman with arms that could hoist a calf. She rejected them all with the same firm politeness. "I'm not interested in marriage yet," she told her parents. "I have too much to learn, too much to do." "You sound like your mother," Sam said with amusement. "Good," Rose Lily replied. "Mama is smartest person I know." In the fall of that year, a young man named David Thornton came to work as a ranch hand. He was 22, quiet, respectful, and completely unbothered by Rose Lily's size. "You are tall," he observed on their first meeting. "You are short," she countered. He was 5'10", half a head shorter than her. "Does that bother you?" he asked. "Should it? Not unless it bothers you." Rose Lily smiled. They courted for a year. David proved himself hard-working, honest, and genuinely in love with Rose Lily for who she was, not despite her height, but including it. When he proposed in 1900, she said yes immediately. The wedding was held at the ranch in the spring. Reverend Hanson, now 70 and gray, but still spry, performed the ceremony. Half the county attended. The community that had once whispered about the Morrison family now celebrated them. As Sam walked Rose Lily down the aisle they had created in the yard, he thought about the day he had first seen Ka chained and terrified. About how one decision, one moment of choosing compassion over cruelty had led to this. "I am so proud of you," he whispered to his daughter. "I know, Papa. Thank you for showing me what a good man looks like." The reception lasted until midnight. People danced, ate, celebrated. Ka sat with baby Maria, now 9, watching her eldest daughter dance with her new husband. "You did good, Mama," Maria said softly. "We did good together," Ka corrected. "All of us." 2 years later, in 1902, Rose Lily gave birth to her first child, a daughter, 10 pounds healthy, with her grandmother's dark eyes and her grandfather's smile. They named her Nasha, after the woman who had survived everything to build this family. Sam held his granddaughter, tears streaming down his face. "I am a grandfather," he said wonderingly. "I never thought I would live to see this." Ka, now 43, stood beside him. "We see many things we not think possible. This just one more." The ranch expanded over the years. Rose Lily and David built a house on the far edge of the property. Thomas, now 16 and showing no interest in ranching, went to Prescott to study law. Maria, 12, talked about becoming a teacher. "Our children have choices we never had," Ka said to Sam one evening in 1903. "That is what we worked for. That is what everything was for." They sat on the porch, the same porch they had sat on for nearly 20 years. Their chairs were worn, their bodies were older, but their hands were still entwined. "You have regrets?" Ka asked. Sam thought about it seriously. "Only that I could not give you an easier life, that I could not protect you from every hardship." "You give me best life," Ka said firmly. "You give me freedom. You give me love. You give me family. What more I need?" Sam kissed her hand. "Nothing, I suppose. We have everything that matters." In 1910, Samuel Morrison turned 63. Nasha Ka Morrison turned 51. Their family had grown to include 2 grandchildren from Rose Lily, and Thomas had just announced his engagement to a schoolteacher from Prescott. They sat on their porch, the same ritual they had performed thousands of times, but now their children and grandchildren filled the yard. The ranch sprawled across 100 acres. The herd numbered over 200 head. A young Apache woman, maybe 20, rode up on a tired horse. She was tall, not as tall as Ka, but close. She looked exhausted, desperate. Sam stood instinctively protective. "Can I help you?" The woman looked at Ka. Recognition flashed in her eyes. "You are the Apache Giantess, the one who married a white man and built a family. I heard stories about you on the reservation." Ka nodded slowly. "I am Nasha Morrison. What you need, I was sold, like you were. I escaped. I heard if I could get to you, you would help." Ka looked at Sam. He nodded without hesitation. Ka stood walking down to meet the young woman. "What's your name?" "Ayana." "Ayana, that mean eternal blossom. Good name. Strong name." She took the young woman's hand. "You safe here. No one hurt you. We help you." Ayana started crying. "How did you do it? How did you survive? How did you build this?" Ka looked back at her family, at Sam who had saved her, at her children who had never known slavery or shame, at her grandchildren who would grow up free. "I survive because I refuse to die. I build this because I find one good man who see me as human. And I never forget that I deserve life, that I deserve love, that I deserve to exist." She squeezed Ayana's hand. "You deserve it too. You are not broken. You are not defective. You are woman. You are survivor, and you will thrive. I help you learn how." As the sun set over the ranch, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, 3 generations of Morrisons gathered on the porch. Sam sat with his arm around Ka. Their children stood close. Their grandchildren played at their feet. And a young Apache woman who had escaped slavery sat among them, seeing for the first time what her future could hold. Sam looked at Ka, at the life they had built from nothing, at the legacy that would outlive them both. "We did it," he said softly. "Against every odd, against every voice that said it was impossible. We built something beautiful." Ka rested her head on his shoulder. "We did, and it will continue long after we're gone. Our children teach their children. Our story lives on." She looked at Ayana. "And we help others find their way, like Maria helped me, like you helped me. We pass it forward. That is how we honor what we survive." As darkness fell and stars emerged in the vast desert sky, the Morrison family sat together, speaking softly, laughing occasionally, simply existing in the peace they had fought so hard to create. 2 people who should never have met, who should never have survived, who should never have been allowed to love each other or build a family. But they had, and their legacy would echo through generations yet unborn, a testament to the power of choosing compassion over cruelty, of seeing people for who they truly are instead of what the world says they should be, of one man who stepped forward when he could have walked away, and one woman who refused to let the world convince her she was anything less than human. Together they had proven that love, real love, could heal even the deepest wounds, could build even from the most broken foundations, could create miracles from the ashes of tragedy. That night, after the family had gone to bed and Ayana was settled in the barn with blankets and safety, Sam and Ka sat alone on their porch one last time. "Do you remember that first night?" Sam asked quietly. "When I brought you here and you slept in the barn not trusting me?" "I remember everything," Ka said. "Every moment, every choice that brought us here." Sam took her hand, his fingers interlacing with hers as they had thousands of times before. "If I could go back to that day at Fort Verde knowing everything that would come after all the struggles, all the fear, all the pain, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would choose you every single time." Ka smiled, the expression transforming her weathered face. "And I would choose you, Sam Morrison, always." They sat in silence, Two old warriors who had fought their way to peace, watching the stars emerge one by one in the vast desert sky. Inside the cabin, their legacy slept. 3 children, 2 grandchildren, 1 young woman saved from slavery, and countless lives yet to be touched by the story of how 1 woman refused to die and 1 man refused to look away. That was a story worth telling. That was a story that would never die. The end.